bind primitive types means already we know we have a number, string, boolean, null, undefined, and a symbol, begin. These are the primitive types of JavaScript. Same primitive types we use in React, and we discussed are there any changes in handling them. So almost all are same, presenting numbers, string, boolean. Only boolean small change I explained. In boolean, what we do, it will not show true false. We can just use true false. Others all are same. Today we will see how to handle the non-primitive types. So binding non-primitive types. Non-primitive types. How data binding works. So how we can bind non-primitive types and how to use these non-primitive types in our React. That's another point. So I am not teaching you what are non-primitive types. We are learning how we handle them. Because in JavaScript you already learned about this. So here we are going to use the non-primitive types. So let's see what are non-primitive types you learned. Array. Array is one non-primitive. So how do we define how we handle same? Actually, so what is the basic point about array you already know. Arrays purpose I am not explaining, we already know that in data type. Generally, array declaration and memory specification are same. Declaration and memory specification are same as in JavaScript. There is no difference. How you declare array, how you initialize memory, same. You learned how to define. So generally, constant data, this is data, use state. You can specify array using a meta character, or you can specify using array constructor. Meta character and array constructor. Configuring array, you already know. It is defined using meta character and constructor. And you know the difference between meta character constructor. So we can configure array using meta character and constructor. So that is same thing. And actually all array methods are same. There is no change. Whatever array methods you learned, they are same. What are array methods you learned? Adding elements, removing elements, updating elements, sorting array elements. tree structure, array spread operators, all are same. So completely what you learned in JavaScript about array, you use in the same way. But in JavaScript, array presentation is complicated. It's very lengthy process. Here, array presentation is simple. JavaScript array manipulation methods, same here also. We can use same methods. But what is issue in your JavaScript is presenting array is complicated. It's lengthy. Here it is easy. Let's see how. Generally, now tell me how to read. So React provides simplified techniques. So React provides simplified techniques to present array elements and bind to UI. Present array elements and bind to UI. Generally, what is the problem is, now first thing, in JavaScript, what is the issue? How we handle that? Okay, suppose I'm showing here your traditional HTML page. On load, body load. Okay. We have a script function body load and we are having some data. Data is an array with some values, all some electronics, some fashion, so footwear like this. We want to present these elements in a drop down. We want to present those elements in an unordered list or ordered list. Generally, what is the mechanism how we do that in our JavaScript? What to do? First, you need to read all elements from array one by one. So what are the various techniques of reading elements from array? So how we can read all elements from array? So reading all elements from array, there are so many techniques. So you can read all array elements using, you can use toString. It will return all elements. You can use join. It will return all elements. You can use for each. You can use map. These are options. You can also use for off statements. So you can use for in statements. So to read all elements from array, in general JavaScript, you have all these methods. And you already know difference between them. So first in React, cannot use statements. So last two are not possible in React. For off, we cannot use in React because React will not support statements inside JSX. So you cannot use them, but you can use these methods. In these, you cannot use these two because toString returns with comma delimiter. Join will return with our own delimiter. So they will have a predefined separator. So toString will return all elements separated with comma, and join will return all elements separated with our custom delimiter. So you can use for each or map. What is the difference between for each and map in JavaScript?
1430
In JavaScript, both are used for reading every element and returning the element and their index. Both will do. For each will read every element and return its value and index. Map also do the same. It can read every element and it can return index. What is difference between map and for each? What is the difference between map and for each? For each. So the difference between for each and map is for each is void and map returns the elements. For each will read element but will not return the element. Map is going to return the element. It will read the element and it will return the element. So in React, to read every element from array, you have only one important method, that is what? Map. You cannot use others for presentation. So map is recommended. So generally in JavaScript, to read every element, we can use any technique. I can use for var item of data. After that, what we have to do? I need to add this item into dropdown. If I need to add the item into dropdown, you learned already in JavaScript what to do. We have to create an option. How to create any element? Document dot create element. What is it? Option. After that, you need to set option dot text is item. Option dot value is item. Then add this option into dropdown. Document dot query selector. What is it? Select dot append child. You need to add that option. This is lengthy process. How we generally add. You already know this in JavaScript, how you read every element and add into the dropdown. If I need to add into ordered list, same. We have to create what? Li document dot create element li. Then li dot text content. Text content, we need to put the item. Document dot query selector, which one? OL. Into that append child, which one? Li. Then every item is added into the list. This is small array, okay, fine. But if it is complex array with array of objects, then it is very difficult. But in React, it is very simple. So React you cannot use for or while statements because JSX will not allow statements. Then how? Let's see what we are doing. So we are having some arrays. So we are having a collection constant. So I am using some categories. Categories we are allocating memory array type. Into that we have all. We have electronics. We have fashion. So we have footwear like this. Okay. Now these items we need to present in a ordered list or in a drop down we want to present. So here how we do in React, let's see. I will run this. So it runs. Okay. I will run in a new window. Okay. So you can see this is empty. Now inside the drop down we need to generate an option. So put a dynamic expression. And here we need to read every element from array. There are so many methods, but we cannot use them. Here, why? Because it is JSX, you cannot use for statements not allowed. Then you have to access categories, collection, dot map. What map will do? It will read every item. So, and for every item, it should return a list in an option. For every item, it should return one option. What should be the option text? Option inside. It should display item. And when submits, it should submit value also item. So option text is item and value also item. And you can see that it is presenting. It's very simple. That means we can present in a simple way. The same thing, if I have to do in JavaScript, you saw what we have to do. That means we have to create an item, configure value into it, then add the item. Is there any alternative way? In JavaScript, there is no another alternative. In JavaScript, this is the only way. But in React, it is quite simple. Suppose I am presenting an ordered list. Same, put a binding expression. And in the binding expression, you need to use categories. Dot what? Map. Read every item. You can give any name. Read every category. And the category must return a list item. In the list item, we will display the category name. And it is going to display that. But in the background, whenever you are repeating one element, then React shows an error. What What is error? It says that when you are repeating same item again and again, that means you are repeating option several times. Then I need a unique identification for every item. You can observe it will show one error in the background. You can see that error. What is the error? Each child in a list should have a unique key. Each child must have a unique key. That means a unique identification must be there for every item. Because this option is repeated 10 times if there are 10 items. That means 10 duplicates. If 10 duplicates are there, how to identify them? So everyone needs a unique identification. What people do is, people use one technique. You know, map will return both element and its index. Map will return element and index, and they use key as index. Index is 0, 1, 2, 3. That means here also category, comma, index. And here you need a key. What is that? Index. Now you can see that now we don't have any problem. But this is not good idea. Don't use indexes. That is not good coding technique, because index initially starts with 0. So it will be 0, 1, 2, 3 references. Index is not good. So then what to do is use any unique name, identification. Later it is easy, because when you bring data from database, you know that every record have a primary key. We will assign that primary key to the key. That is best. Don't use indexes. As of now it satisfies, but later you don't need index. Instead of index, here I can directly use the category name. I can directly use the category name. It is no problem. It is working fine. But make sure that the same category name is not present. If you have different category names, fine. But make sure that it is a unique one. Unique one means later when it comes from database, obviously it will have a primary key. You know, database sets a primary key for every record. So we will use such primary keys. Temporarily, you can use index also. Now, here important, instead of using map, I am trying to use for each. Because for each also can read every item. And you can see that here for each is unable to return. In JavaScript you can do. In JavaScript you can use for each, you can use map. But what is the main purpose of for each is reading every item but not returning. In React, in order to present, it should return. So it is mandatory that you have to use which method? By using map, you can present the data and access the data. So here, what is key point? So React can use only map method as it can read and return every element. So what is issue with others? Those uses a comma delimiter. Join uses a custom delimiter. Delimiter means separator. For each is void. For of, for in, statements not allowed in JSX. So that is the reason you have to use map. Another point, every repeating element must have a unique key. Every repeating element must have a unique key.